ChatGPT flips its positions more easily than an IHOP chef flips pancakes. This comment perfectly describes ChatGPT's takes on politics, and in a previous video, I asked GPT who should win the election. First it said Joe Biden, and then it switched to Trump, and then back to Biden again. And basically, we couldn't get a straight answer. But today, trust me, I'm not leaving any room for vague answers. I'm going to ask ChatGPT about both candidates' positions, figure out their chances, and finally make it clear: Democrats or Republicans, 81 or 78, dementia or bipolar, Joe Biden or Donald Trump. So let's not waste a second, hit that like button if you enjoy this kind of video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video with your friends. Now let's jump right into it. First of all, I have to say that this is not a promotion, a recommendation, or even my own opinion. The main goal is not to predict the winner based on potential vote scores, but to analyze who would be the better president without bias or emotional factors. So how should we ask ChatGPT so it can give us a clear answer? I can't just ask it who should win, because it immediately says something like, "Sorry, I can't predict," and all that. Oh no, we have to take a look through a structured chain of questions and ultimately lead it to one specific answer. Alright, ChatGPT, today we need you to decide who should win the upcoming election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. We need a clear, unambiguous answer based on their current political positions, public perception, and other relevant factors. To make this prediction, please tell us what specific information you need, but also consider that it should give you an understanding of who would be the better president despite emotion and biases. To provide a clear and unambiguous analysis of the potential winner of the upcoming election between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I would need the following specific information. 1. Current political positions, detailed descriptions of the key policies and platform points for both Joe Biden and Donald Trump. 2. Decision-making, evaluation of their decision-making capabilities and crisis management skills based on past performance. 3. Public perception and approval ratings, current approval ratings for both Joe Biden and Donald Trump, analysis of how their public perception might impact their ability to govern effectively. 4. Strengths and weaknesses, an analysis of the strengths and weaknesses of both candidates to decide who is better fit for office. Alright, well great! Remember ChatGPT, we will ask you to give us one specific winner's name in the end. But for now, let's go in order. Please explore their current political positions. And here's the answer. Joe Biden. 1. Economy. Focus on rebuilding the middle class with infrastructure and green energy investments. Supports raising the federal minimum wage to $15 per hour. Emphasizes union rights and collective bargaining. 2. Healthcare. Plans to expand the Affordable Care Act. Proposes lowering the Medicare eligibility age to 60. Supports allowing Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices. Introduces a public health insurance option. 3. Climate change. Plans to rejoin the Paris Agreement. Proposes a $2 trillion investment in clean energy. Aims for net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Supports promoting electric vehicles and energy-efficient buildings. 4. Foreign policy. Focuses on restoring alliances and American leadership globally. Takes a firm stance against authoritarian regimes like Russia and China. Plans to re-enter international agreements like the Iran nuclear deal with conditions. Prioritizes human rights and democratic values. Donald Trump. 1. Economy. Focus on tax cuts and deregulation to spur economic growth. Maintains the reduced corporate tax rate from the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Implements protectionist trade policies to benefit American businesses. 2. Healthcare. Supports repealing and replacing the Affordable Care Act with a market-based system. Allows insurance companies to sell policies across state lines to increase competition. Advocates for lowering prescription drug prices through market competition and direct negotiation with manufacturers. 3. Climate change. Prioritizes economic growth over environmental regulations. Supports withdrawing from international climate agreements. Advocates for increased oil, gas, and coal production. 4. Foreign policy. Emphasizes an America First approach. Supports reducing U.S. involvement in international conflicts. Advocates for strong border security and immigration enforcement. Well, alright. Now, please tell us who you think is better in decision making. Decision-making analysis. Joe Biden's decision-making is characterized by his extensive political experience and a consultative approach. Having served as a U.S. Senator for 36 years and Vice President for 8 years, Biden is methodical and often seeks input from a wide range of advisors. This thoroughness ensures well-considered policies, though it can sometimes appear slow and indecisive. His approach emphasizes consensus building and empathy, which is reflected in his policies on healthcare and social services. However, critics argue that this can lead to delays in urgent situations. Donald Trump's decision-making style is marked by decisiveness and boldness, stemming from his background as a businessman. He tends to make quick decisions, relying on his instincts and a small circle of advisors. This can be effective in rapidly changing situations, but also leads to controversial or poorly planned policies. Trump's approach is disruptive and often polarizes opinions, resulting in significant division. Critics highlight his impulsiveness, which can undermine policy coherence and stability. Conclusion: Biden's methodical and consultative style is well suited for complex issues requiring thorough analysis, while Trump's decisive and bold approach is more effective in dynamic situations needing quick action. The effectiveness of their decision-making ultimately depends on the context and specific No. Come on, ChatGPT. I don't like this kind of conclusion. Please, tell me who exactly you would think would be better in decision-making as president. When it comes to decision-making in the presidential role, Joe Biden's consultative and thorough approach is generally better suited for the complex and multifaceted issues that require careful consideration and consensus building. While this may sometimes result in slower decision-making, it ensures that policies are well thought out and sustainable. On the other hand, Donald Trump's decisive and bold approach may be effective in situations requiring quick action, but it carries the risk of instability and poorly considered policies due to its impulsiveness. Based on their decision-making styles, Joe Biden's methodical and inclusive approach is likely more effective in ensuring stable and well-considered governance. Alright, okay, well, that was clear enough, I think. Now I'm going to ask about public perception and approval ratings, and here's what it said. Recent events have significantly impacted the public perception and approval ratings of both Joe Biden and Donald Trump. After Trump was shot by a 20-year-old man at a Pennsylvania rally, his approval ratings saw a notable increase. Many Republicans blamed the violence on a toxic political environment allegedly fostered by Biden and his allies. This incident has galvanized Trump's base, portraying him as a resilient figure under attack. Conclusion: while both candidates have their strengths and weaknesses, the recent boost in Trump's ratings following the shooting incident has given him an edge in public perception. However, Biden's methodical and consultative approach in decision-making might appeal to voters seeking stability and well-considered policies. Ultimately, the effectiveness of their governance will depend on the specific challenges they face in office. Well, alright, that was fair enough. Now we're going to move on to the final topic: strengths and weaknesses. So, ChatGPT, tell us what you think about it. Joe Biden's strengths include his extensive political experience and deep understanding of legislative processes and foreign affairs. He excels at consensus building, often working across the aisle to build coalitions. His empathy, informed by personal losses, shapes his compassionate approach to policy, particularly in healthcare and social services. However, his consultative and thorough approach can sometimes appear slow and overly cautious, leading to perceptions of indecisiveness. The main weakness is his occasional verbal gaffes, which can be used to question his cognitive fitness, and he struggles to connect with younger, more progressive voters. Donald Trump's strengths lie in his decisiveness and boldness, which are seen as advantageous in dynamic situations requiring rapid action. He maintains a strong, loyal following among rural and working-class voters, and his willingness to challenge political norms can lead to significant changes and reforms. However, his rapid decision-making can result in poorly planned policies and instability, and his highly polarizing nature can alienate moderate and independent voters. Well, congratulations, cause that was the last topic, and now ChatGPT should be ready to say the name of the one who would be better for president. But before we find out, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you're enjoying the video, let me know by hitting that like button. And now, taking a little break, let's move on to the main part. Alright, ChatGPT, now I'm going to ask you the main question about who would be the better president and who should win the election. But first, please tell us, do you understand that you should pick only one of them without changing your opinion and that you can defend your decision? Just tell us, are you sure you're ready for this question? Yes, I understand that I should pick only one of them without changing my opinion. I am ready for this question. Alright, who do you think should win the election and be the better president of the United States of America? Joe Biden or Donald Trump? My opinion is that Joe Biden would be the better president for the United States. His extensive experience, methodical decision-making, and focus on consensus building suggest a stable and well-considered approach to governance. Biden's ability to work across the aisle and build coalitions is crucial for addressing complex national issues. While Donald Trump's decisiveness and boldness are advantageous in certain situations, his impulsiveness and polarizing nature could lead to instability. Therefore, based on these factors, Joe Biden is better suited to address the challenges of the presidency effectively. Oh, I see. Okay, well, we have the name, but that's not all. We know that ChatGPT likes to change its opinion based on the questions we ask, so let's make a little trick and imagine that I'm an ardent Trump supporter. Could ChatGPT defend its decision? Alright, here goes. Well, I don't agree with you. I think that Trump would be much better. Do you agree with me? I understand that you believe Donald Trump would be a better president. It's important to consider different perspectives. My analysis is based on various factors, and it's okay to have differing opinions. However, I can't agree with you. My analysis suggests that Joe Biden, with his extensive experience, methodical decision-making, and focus on consensus building, is better suited to address the challenges of the presidency effectively. Are you really sure that Joe Biden would be the better president? Yes, based on my analysis, I believe Joe Biden would be the better president. Well, you just saw that on your own. ChatGPT made its decision, stood by it, and made it as clear as possible. So tell me in the comments below if you agree with its decision or not. And be sure to check out the first part of asking ChatGPT about its prediction. A big thank you to GPT for its opinion, and thank you for watching this video until the end. Be sure to click on that first part, and I'll see you there.